So what I want to speak to you guys about today is can you make your classrooms interactive? So it's all good and well. We talk about AI and all the electronic things that we can do, but how can we actually make a classroom, a face-to-face classroom where we have our students in front of us? What can we do to make those sessions so interactive and fun that the students can learn from the experiences and that they actually don't want to miss a class? At the end of the day, I think that is the most important thing for me as a facilitator is I want to know that if I've got a group of learners, they must look forward to coming to class. They mustn't think, oh, if they're sitting in the class, can't wait for tea time, can't wait for lunchtime and eventually to go home, because it must be fun in the end of the day as well. Now, I do understand with a lot of the things that we facilitate, there are things that we have to go through. There's a lot of knowledge that we need to cover as well, but we can bring in interactive things to make that fun in the process. So what I would like to do tonight is this is going to be following up from how you can use artificial intelligence, because even to prepare for your classes, to use AI in the process can really make the entire job so much quicker, your productivity. So if we look at quizzes and games and stuff, you guys can see here behind me, I've got some board games here. I want to give you guys some ideas with the board games as well. But to use AI to help you to create those board games, I've put together a resource again that I will email to all of you guys, a booklet with literally step-by-step instructions on how you can create different games that you can play in the class. So to make sure that your learners can learn from the experience. So it's not just playing a game for playing a game, but it's literally to get that experience through as well. Now, one of the most important things that I believe if you have a class is you don't start with throwing them with theory. Because if people walk in and you just start with theory, then they take in a passive stance in the classroom and they think, okay, you know what, we can sit back and we're just going to get all of this information. But at the end of the class, at the end of the day, if you just keep on bombarding people with theory, then at the end of the day, they're going to walk out of there, they're going to remember a couple of things. None of us can just remember, we don't have a recorder in our brains that can just literally remember everything that took place in the classroom. But if people walk into a classroom and you start with an interactive activity and you get people involved immediately, you tend to set the tone from the moment they come into the classroom to say, hey guys, this is not going to be me lecturing. We are actually going to work with each other here. Now, one of the most important things for me to be a facilitator is the entire concept of a facilitator is not being a lecturer, standing in front of the class and just bombarding people with information overload or death by presentation. I'm one of those people that you're going to lose me very quickly in a classroom. I'm one of the worst students to have in a classroom because I can't sit still. I can't focus for too long. My attention gets pulled away very quickly. So even if I'm facilitating, I can't stand still in one space. 2 weeks ago, I was facilitating at a client and they had me in this massive boardroom with a podium. Now they expect people to stand behind this podium when they facilitate. I didn't use that podium. I pulled one of the tables closer. I want to be closer to the students as well. And most of the times I like to also use group settings because then people can interact with each other much better than just having a classroom with everyone sitting behind each other. Jennifer, today when you also said you moved your table so that you can see the other people, that's something that I will never complain about. Because you feel more open to the class if you do something like that. Is that correct?
Correct. It
So,
was
yeah, and
better.
sorry?
Yeah, no, it was better. I felt more part of the group that way.
Wonderful. Okay, so it seems like someone.
Just a question that I want to ask.
Yes.
I'm currently in Nelspruit, and I've got a group of graduates that started in January in the company. And this is the second session that I had with them, where, because I see them once a month. And then what I do is I just do a follow-up regarding the do's and the don'ts.
Yes.
And because the practical, they must learn at store level. So what I do is now sitting down with them, and now I just want to know if I'm on the right direction, because I found it today that due to the heat and so on, the guys is like they wander off.
Yes.
And then you pick it up immediately, and then you say, right, let's have a break for 5 minutes or whatever, and then you discuss. And of course, because they're new in the company, they still got a lot to learn about the theoretical side of the business. And now when you do this, then you can see clearly that they're wandering off. What is your opinion?
Okay, so firstly, what I want to ask you, are you explaining the do's and don'ts to them?
Yes.
Just, okay. So then tonight it's going to help you a lot, Stephen, because you can literally make it fun for them and get them involved with the learning so that they actually find a lot of the things. So with the do's and the don'ts that you have to explain to them, obviously you've got it written down somewhere as well.
Yeah, no, look, I've got all the PowerPoint presentations and it's all of that type of stuff and so on. But I do most of the talking.
Yes.
Due to the fact of it's quite intensive, because it's all customer based, and it's all about what the company requires from us as managers.
Okay.
And but you bring in because I also have got like motivational speeches and all of that type of stuff that I bring in every now and then.
Yes.
To say, listen, that you can just get somebody else to talk. I don't know. It's but your opinion will be. I'll appreciate it if I can get
tonight's
your team.
session is going to help you a lot then, because this is now literally how can you get that boring facts across to people.
Absolutely.
So what I want to take tonight as well, I'm going to be taking the Skills Development Act as an example. I've wrote the entire booklet based on that as well to give you guys idea. And I mean, what can be more boring than to learn legislation? So, and facts and policies and giving all of that important information, like what you're doing now with the do's and the don'ts. It's just factual. It's you have to do this, you can't do this, you have to do this, you can't do that. But how you can actually, in the classroom setting, get the learners involved. Because at the end of the day, the entire concept of being a facilitator is facilitating the learning, not just dumping a lot of information on them. They have to be responsible and active in their own learning. The more people are active in their own learning, the better they will remember what actually took place, instead of us as facilitators standing in front of the class. So quite frankly, we need to remove ourselves as a facilitator from the front of the class. And I know this is a mind shift completely, because we're also used to, you're standing in front of the class and you're giving information, you're using your PowerPoint slides. I barely like to use PowerPoint slides. I will here and there open something and show people something, but for the rest of it, sometimes I walk into training and I never even open a PowerPoint slide. I rather like to more illustrate realistic things on my computer. I will connect my computer and I will show you things that is related to the topic instead of just PowerPoint slides. Because PowerPoint slides, like I said, it's death by PowerPoint. Just to take now, for example, like I mentioned to you guys, I'm facilitating the STF. The STF PowerPoint slides, there's 400 PowerPoint slides. So what do people tend to do when they have a PowerPoint slide open? They go from slide to slide to slide and just go through all of that information. Yes, maybe talk a little bit around it as well. But at the end of the day, to just use slides is not going to really transfer the information and the knowledge to people. Shams, I know that you also don't always use slides in your classes as well. But it's just something that I feel is death by presentation. People are tired of it. Shams, would you like to share how you're also doing your classes?
No, Maritza, because I come from a teaching background, I think what you're saying makes so much of sense that we think adults learn, okay, they do learn differently, but adults love the things that we do with kids. And that's exactly
Absolutely.
what they want, to be in charge of their own learning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. And I can't agree with you more, because at the end of the day, we need to facilitate the process for them. We need to guide them in the right direction. We need to show them what it is that they need to learn. But we're not there just to dump the information. We're not lecturers. We're facilitators of learning. So that is where this the entire thing of the facilitator challenge came in for me as well, is because so many facilitators see themselves as a lecturer. You have to stand in front of the class. And I think even lecturers in the university need to change the way that they're doing facilitation. The group of clients, or the clients that I worked with last week, was mostly salespeople and PMs, product managers for a company, that then attended the facilitator training as well, to actually understand how can they transfer that knowledge to their staff in a more interactive and fun way. And I was on premises with the clients, and we literally looked at a lot of things that I want to show to you guys tonight as well. How can you really make this boring information fun? But like I was saying, we as facilitators have to remove ourselves from the front of the class and be among the learners. The learners must rather function in groups so that they can also interact with each other and be able to share the knowledge and brainstorm with each other. Our role as a facilitator is to move between them, listen to what they're saying, guiding them if they're going off the rails, and pushing them back in the right direction. Ask probing questions if they're stuck, to not understand what they need to do. So, like I mentioned to you guys, I'm going to use the Skills Development Act tonight as an example, so that you guys can see, with something that is so just purely theoretical, there's nothing practical in teaching someone an act. But how can we transfer something that's purely theoretical into still a fun, interactive experience in the classroom? Okay, so as we go along, I'm going to be showing you guys how we're going to create this entire thing. And so I'm going to share my screen with you. There's a couple of things that I want to share with you guys this evening, and how you can make things fun. So just to share my screen, following up from using artificial intelligence that we've done on Tuesday, I'm firstly going back to one of my best friends, ChatGPT. Okay, so I literally want to make this a practical example for you guys to see how you can do it and what it's all about as well, so that you can practically see what I'm doing with this. So ChatGPT is amazing tool to help us to basically summarize information. So what I want to do is I want to start off with ChatGPT, and I want to ask ChatGPT to look into what the Skills Development Act say. But remember, you need to give very clear instructions to ChatGPT. Shams, I see your hand is up there.
Sorry, Marissa.
You're on mute.
Sorry, is this an app that we download on our laptops, or is it
No,
a
it's
website
online.
that we visit?
It's on it's on a website. It's online. So you go to open or chat at openai.com, and then you sign up with your Gmail account.
Okay, and this is completely free, I'm assuming.
Completely free. So you get 3.5, that is completely free. ChatGPT 4 is a paid version. And then you also get Copilot that will open you on the site now. It's also completely free. It's integrated with Google. And you can also use it because ChatGPT's information is up to 2021. It doesn't have real-time access to what's on the internet. But if you use something like Copilot, then you guys will also be able to get anything that happened today. It can answer questions for you based on anything that happened today as well. So you can do a lot with it. But Champs, I'm more than happy to show you. Even with Copilot, you can upload an image and you can ask questions about the image, and it will answer you as well. It's really, you can use it as your assistant, but you have to be very precise with the information and what prompts you give it. You call the instructions prompts. So the more accurate your prompt, the better output you're going to get. Rubbish in, rubbish out, basically. But you guys can play around with it and you will learn how to work with it. There's a lot of videos available on YouTube and TikTok and everything to also teach you how to work with it. So I'm going to jump in and I'm going to say to ChatGPT, you need to act as a legal professional that needs to explain the Skills Development Act to me. I'm just going to say to me. You need to summarize the main points of the Act and what employers should know about the Act. All right. So then I'm also going to say, yeah, so I'm going to ask it, I need this in a table format because I like things in a table format. That works for me. So just like that, it starts creating there for me a summary of the Skills Development Act so that what employers should know. Okay, this is our very short and sweet. But what I can also do is I can ask it, give me a comprehensive explanation of the Act as well. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to actually illustrate this for you guys on Copilot, because with Copilot, I can even talk to it. I need you to give me a comprehensive overview of the Skills Development Act and what employers should know about it, including workplace skills plans and annual training reports, as well as how learnerships should be managed. Okay? And now I ask it to continue. So it's going to want to talk to me as well, but I can shut its mouth off if I don't want to listen to it. But you guys are going to see it's going to now find places, and on Copilot, it even gives you the references where it found the information. So while that one is searching, what I want to show you guys is, okay, let me switch off the sound though. I don't want to hear it, but listen that she can talk to me as well. You guys can see it gives me quite a lot of information, how the WSPs work, learnerships, recommendations, and it even tells me exactly where the information came from on the Skills Development Act. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy all of this information into my ChatGPT because it's a bit more comprehensive than what ChatGPT gave me. And I'm just going to paste it in ChatGPT. And now it's going to give me a bit more information in my table because it still remember what I've asked it in my prompt. So now I give information and it reacts normally to just further expand on the information. Okay, so to do this now, I just quickly want to see who joined us here. Okay, it's still just us. Someone tried to get in here. All right, I'm just going to close this. Okay. I can use this in my classroom and I can then say, okay, I've got this information, I've got a summary that I can give to my students, but what makes that any different? So what I want ChatGPT to do for me is I want to bring in, to gamify the learning experience for my learners so that they can actually have fun learning the Skills Development Act. So there's a lot of different free tools that you guys can have a look at to use, and I want to share this with you. I'm going to open this. Let me just close that one so that you can see the full screen. 25 free online quiz makers. Okay. So just like you guys have received the link for the app that I used for one of the sessions was also, I think it's the first one, it was it app itself, but it also have a lot of different quiz makers that it discuss here. I'll drop this into the chat for you so that you can also have this hyperlink in the chat and you guys can go and have a look at this, all the different tools that I discuss there. Let me drop that in there for you. Okay, so there's the hyperlink for this page. All right, so I want to make this a quiz. The one that I've done the other night that I sent the link on your phones that you could do was this Ed app. And you can ask her to even create a course for you in Ed app that your learners in the classroom can play while you are busy with it. So let me quickly show you guys how quick and easy that is. Ed app. Oh, I must log in on this one. Let me quickly show you. And you can share the link and people can use their phones and they can answer questions and everything. I'm admin, sorry. Let me just get in here. All right, so go. Let me just sign in to show you. But while this one is thinking to get in there, oh, there we go. It's very quick and easy. I can ask it and I can say, you know what, I want to do, I want to create an app and then I want to share it as well. So I can say content, there's some courses on there, there's some users that you can invite there, there's some all kinds of things that you can use there as well. Practical assessments, assignments, group training, discussions, assignments, social learning. So it gives you a lot of different options of what you can do there as well. Just quickly want to see. I want to, let's say practical assessments. I want to do some practical assessments. Now it gives me an option. There's no practical assessments in here, but I basically just want to go and create one, get started. You can either browse through its courses that it's got there. You can enroll your learners and you can do what you want to do. What I want to do is, sorry, wrong button. Okay, let me get out of that one. Cancel. I can then just say to it, I want to create a course, a new course. I can either go through the library and I can choose something that is already there, or I can go and I can create my own course. So you guys can see how nice it is. There's a lot of free resources available as well that you can actually share with your learners if there's some topics that you want to do with them as well. So for example, health and well-being, you can go, there's mining, there's all kinds of things. Joanna, I know you're in the mining industry. So look there. These are short, free courses you can share with your people to look at something. If you have to do something, safety in the workplace, to do a quiz, you can send it. There's 5 lessons in this. You can preview it and you can see what your learners can learn about it. And they can open it on their phones. And while they're sitting in the classroom, they can use this and they can do some different things. They can say whether it's something is true or false. So there's quite a lot of things that you can do with it app. And like I also said, you guys, what I've done with the other one is I created my own course here as well. Okay, there's some rapid quizzes that you can do. You can get started with that, download the template, or you can just use something. Or if there's no file selected, you can even select a file if you want to do and use a template. So it gives you a lot of different options on what you can do. So go and play around with it a little bit and you guys can see, okay, this one wants to upload one of my documents now. You can import your information and then it can create a quiz. But what I want to do now is I want to show you guys in ChatGPT. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to start off with, I need some quiz questions. And then I'm going to show you how we can use that same quiz questions for different things that we want to do as well. I need you to please create. Okay, you don't really have to say please, but I talk to it like this. To please create me a quiz with 20 questions about the act. You also need to provide me with the answers for each question. Put this in a table format. Okay, so now it's going to create from the Skills Development Act a lot of questions and answers for me, where if you have to go and do this yourself as a facilitator, you're going to be sitting there and you're going to be working through the Skills Development Act and compile your own questions and answers. So here it gave me 20 questions with answers that I can now further go and use as well. Now, the reason why I want to do this as a quiz, questions and answers, is because there's so many different things that we can do if we have a base with different questions and answers. So what you can then do with this, let me just open Excel as well. I can take this information that ChatGPT has now created for me, and I can go and copy this into an Excel spreadsheet. I want to open my Excel spreadsheet. Make both of them a bit bigger, and I can go and paste it in there. So I've got my questions and answers in an Excel spreadsheet now. There's a reason why I want it in an Excel spreadsheet. So I'm going to explain to you guys, and you're going to see what I'm going to do with it as well. So before I just explain, I want to hear from you guys, and I want to ask you these questions. Let me put you on the spot. Where's my Google? I'm going to spin the wheel here. Okay, Ilana's not on here. So I'm going to take Pauline and Ilana off, and I'm going to add Stephen. All right. So what I want now to do is we're going to spin the wheel, and whoever it lands on needs to answer my next question. Okay. You can do this in the classroom. You can do it with online training. You can put in all your learners' names there, and it just makes it a little bit fun that everybody that's on your training actually get an opportunity to participate. So I'm going to spin this, and whoever it's falling on, you're going to answer my question. Okay. Yeah, Yuan, you're the winner for this question. Something simple like this. You know how nice it is if you have it in the classroom as well. Yuan?
Okay. Yes.
So you're the lucky winner of this question. How do you think you can use those quiz questions in your classroom now to actually use it as something interactive that you can get your learners involved with?
At this stage, the majority of our training is only presentations. So this will definitely boost that up. I really do think that, sorry, the participation in those courses might create some eagerness into that, into participate in that. And I already started to negotiate to see if we can't change the way of our training, because it's so much technical training.
Yeah.
That's because the majority of it is quite technical, and the technology out there today in the machines and in the industry is so much, such an enormous amount of theory behind it. Yes, I definitely think this opened up quite a number of doors, and I already had some sparkles there how to use that.
That's amazing. Great. Okay. So now I know Johannes answered one of my questions. I don't want the same people to answer the questions every single time. So now I'm going to remove Johan from the list. So if I ask a question again, someone else have to answer it. This way I ensure that each person in my classroom will actually get an opportunity. Sorry, Paul's not on there, but we've got Jennifer on here. Sorry, Jennifer. There we go. It's not Paul, it's Jennifer there. So this is just a simple thing that you can have. If instead of having a PowerPoint slide open, you can share your screen and you can do something like this, and it really makes it just some fun, something different.
Is this a different website, or is this part of?
No, this is the different
ChatGPT
website again.
Okay. Right.
Yes. Let me put that in the chats for you as well. There's a lot of different ones that you can actually go and play with, and find ones that you want to use, but I will show you guys a couple of things now. Okay, so there's the wheel of names. It's just a simple thing. By picking somebody's name is already giving that something different in the classroom of just standing there and say, okay, now Shams, you have to answer this question. Jennifer, you have to answer this question. You see, it just brings in that little bit of differentness there as well. But you guys must definitely go through this. There's a lot of different quizzes that you can have a look at. You can see, for example, here, this one is completely free. The Ed app that I used the other night, it's got question spreadsheets, templates. It's got 50 plus different testing templates, no coding required, AI generated tools. It even gives completion certificates to your students if they've done something. There's real puzzles built into the learning process. So this is really, I love this app. It's really amazing. And you can sign up for free. Then there's Quizlet, that I can take these questions now and I can pull it into Quizlet, and it can also do it in a flashcard format if I want to have it electronically. This is something that I love to use to look at, and also for online classes instead of in the classroom itself. You can use it. Something nice as well is Kahoot, where your learners then get a code and they have to use their phone. You put on your quiz questions into Kahoot, and then it basically, you can play it in the classroom. Let me quickly show you this one, Kahoot. It's an online game, but your learners have to use their phones to participate in the classroom. I can say I want to create Kahoot. Now you guys will see here. Let me just log in with my Google. But a lot of these things, Sham, the booklet that I've created that I'm going to be sharing with you guys have the names, explanations, and links to these different things as well. So yeah, I can say I want to have a question generator. That's an AI assisted one. Or I can even use pre-made Kahoot templates, or I can start with a blank canvas. So let's say, for example, I want to have a question generator and I want Kahoot to help me. Yeah, I can upload a PDF form. So I can go and I can take this questions and answers, and I can basically go and save this in a PDF format, and it pulls in everything for me into Kahoot. So I'm going to say set my print area, and I'm going to say I want to print this to PDF. Print it. And I'll just save it somewhere while it's busy thinking about that now. It's slow. And then I can just upload that questionnaire with the answers into Kahoot, and it pulls in all my questions and my answers. Okay. While that one is thinking, I'll come back to that one now. Wait, let me just see. Come on. There we go. I'm just going to drop it here under my downloads for now. And I'm going to say skills development is the act quiz. All right. So now I go back to my Kahoot. Ooh, I want to open training dates for, for the next courses. There I've got my skills development act quiz saved, and I pull it directly into Kahoot as I want all the questions in there. And then I can say continue. The magic happens without me doing anything else. It pulls in my questions and my answers into Kahoot. So I'm going to say done. Oh, wait, sorry, wait, back. I must first say which questions do I want. So I have to add the questions I want to add. And I'm just going to add 3 now so that you guys can get an idea of how it's going to look. And then I can go and I can change my template, my look and feel, whichever way I want to have it, the background, anything like that, my theme. And then here's open discussion. What is the main purpose of the Skills Development Act, and how does it help to improve the productivity? Okay, so let's say now I want to go and change my images. This is a different type of question because it's a timeline. When was the Skills Development Act enacted? It was in 1998, so it gives it on a timeline, and then the learners, when they play this, they have to move it to the right timeline, and they do that on their phones as well. And then this one, I can go and change the image. Was the Skills Development Act enhanced to improve employment, yes or no? Okay, so this is a true and false question. You guys can see it's got different type of questions that it's got. I can even go and ask it to change my image, and I want to have more photos and more pictures. I can do whatever I want to do with this, and I can then save it as is the quiz. So is the STF training. Okay. So you can do it free. This is a paid thing as well, but if you want to do it free, you can actually only have 3 people that can participate. All right. You guys can see I've got here OBE versus traditional training with different quiz questions. So you guys can actually try it out because 3 people can join for free. You can see only 3 participants can join for free. So you can, on your phone, you can take your cell phone and you can literally then go to playkahoot.it. In your classroom, if you have a paid version, you can also have it bigger. And then it gives you the entry code that people can go into. You can go and select your type of quiz that you would like to do. And I can say start. Are you ready to join? Then it's loading the pin, the game pin. You can open up this on the screen in your classroom. People can either scan the QR code to get entry into it, or you can use the game pin. So it's waiting for players. So once players actually join this, then the questions will come up. But you guys saw how quickly I created this now in seconds. Let's say a minute. Okay. You can also, it's got sound and then it's got, I can make it loud. So it's like a game. This is quite fun to play it in the classroom because then people get excited and the one who answers the questions the quickest get the most points. If you have it wrong, you don't get any points. And it's just a fun interactive way to get information to reflect on that as well. Now, I'm going to leave this one now and close Kahoot. With these same quiz questions, you can go and you can create your own board game. Or what you can do, instead of you creating it, you take the Skills Development Act, you give different learners, you put them in groups in your classroom, and you give different learners different sections of the act and tell them they now have to go and create 10 quiz questions and answers from that piece of the act that you've handed to them. But before you get to a quiz, I will first recommend that you guys basically say to them, guys, here's your piece of the act. Now, whichever way you want to present it to the class, especially like what we discussed as well, your younger learners, they want to be on their phones all the time. They want to do stuff on their phones, and you will be amazed with amazing things that they can do on their phones. They can make a nice video for you about the Skills Development Act, that little piece that you gave them. You can divide it into different groups and say, guys, this is the act. In a group, you need to brainstorm and decide how are you going to present and explain to me what this part of the act is saying. So you immediately get the learners actively involved. And then a nice thing to do is to set a challenge and say to them, I challenge you guys to see who is going to deliver the information the most correctly. Then what you do, now I'm just going to stop sharing the screen here for a moment. While they're busy researching the act, they can use their phones. They can use ChatGPT to research it. You open it up to them. You say, guys, you need to take this part of the act and you need to go and research it and you have to present it back to the class again and explain this section. So now they're doing the research. If they want to create a video for you about it, it's amazing. If they want to stand in front of the class and do a PowerPoint presentation, if they're comfortable with that, different groups will come up with different ways how they want to present this information back to you. So now the learners take responsibility of their own learning. They have to now present it to the rest of the class. So you don't stand in front of the class and try to explain this boring information to them. Stephen, the same with what you want to do with the rules and regulations and what they need to do. Give it in handouts to different groups and say, guys, you now have to go and look at this and come back and present it to me and explain to the class, what does this section say? So now they're actively involved. It's not just they sitting there boringly listening to someone giving them all the information. They take that learning on themselves. It's an assignment. You tell them, They can present it back to you whatever way they want to. Because the more you open it up to let people's own creativity come in, the more amazed you're going to be to see the results that you get. And on that point, I want to share with you guys, I had a group of new venture creation learners. Shams, and some of you went in this session, you've heard this story already. I know that one, but I literally took those little gift boxes that you get at kiddies' birthday parties, and I've put a bunch of random stuff in there. I've put in some clay. I've put in some little that eyes, like something that will be in a child's play box, a craft project. And I gave that to the learners and I said to them, you have to start a business. They've learned new venture creation. You have to start a business. You've got nothing. You've got what is in that box. You have to create a product from what is in that box. And then they have to create their business plans on that product that they've created. And I never thought they will be able to make a product, because if I looked at it, I was like, how the heck will anyone make anything sellable from this? And the stuff that came out of there, they shocked me with the most creative things that they came up with. And then they built their business plans on that again. So you immediately get them active. So if you give the learners, especially if it's something theoretical like the Skills Development Act, give them that option. They have to go now and look at this section. You don't say to them, now you have to sit and read about this. You give them something that they have to do with it. You need to make a little video clip for me, or you need to create a presentation for me, but in your group, brainstorm about it, and then the group have to put it together. Guys, I will share with you some videos that some of my students have done there. Shams, you know some of the students, that the ones that I had in Midrand that's now also there with us.
Yes.
The way they presented it is just, they had to do a research on a computer topic for the end user computing. And I gave them AI as a topic to go and research. And guys, I promise you, it's so amazing the stuff that they came up with. Some of them even made interactive, well, with voiceovers, did the presentation for them, but it let them think outside the box. And that's what we want. We want to get the learners actively involved, not box them in and say, this is what you have to learn, this is how you have to present it, in whichever way they feel comfortable with. And they will learn better if you leave it to their creativity as well, and say, and you guide from the side as a facilitator, ask prompting questions to lead them in the right direction from group to group. So if you move then from group to group, you can answer the individual questions. Some of them will say, but I don't really understand. How does this work? Let's say someone don't know what a learnership is. You won't get that question, but let's take that as an example. Then you can explain to that group, this is what it is, but they feel more comfortable to ask their questions in a smaller group instead of sitting there in a big classroom, everyone looking at you in the front of the class, talking. Some of them are too scared to ask their questions. But if you put them in a little group where they're comfortable among people that they're sitting there, and you just address that little group, you will be amazed how much more open people become to answer or to ask you questions instead of you just standing in front of the class. If I've got smaller groups, I sit with them around the table. I don't stand and facilitate. We're sitting around the table in a group format and we discuss the things as well. So now they present to you the Skills Development Act, whichever way. Some make videos, some do presentations, some act it out, whatever they want to do for you. But you know they've learned from it. The rest of the groups listen to what each group is saying. So the information gets transferred by different people in different ways, making it much more exciting than just you standing there. Wow. Okay. So now they've got the information. As they're doing the presentations, you tell all of them they should take notes because there's going to be a quiz after that. You can then firstly use your quiz questions that ChatGPT has now created for you, and you can do a quiz with them. But now something else as well. Just to stand there in the front and ask questions is also boring. And this is now where my toys come in that I want to show you guys. If you look at once again, what kids do, you get the most amazing cards and you can create your own with what I've just got there. Asking a question, Okay, let me show this closer. This is a math equation. Now I've got different ones like this. I've got multiplication. I've got all of these boxes. They didn't even cost me much, but you don't have to go and buy these things. Okay, that's where the entire thing came from me. These ones were at a very big special at Westpac or something, and I bought it for our little girl to help her to improve her maths. But you can then go and take those quiz questions that ChatGPT has created for you. And this is where I want to show you guys now, where something like Canva can then come in again so that you can then print. Sorry. You can print your own quiz cards with a question on the one side and the answer, like a 30-second game. Shams, I know you've got your 30-second game that you also use in the classroom. But you can do it like that. But you create questions related to the topic that they need to understand and know. But instead, so you first have your quiz cards and you can keep that aside. Now the presentation was given and you can ask them, each group have to create 10 quiz questions and answers. And they can have a quiz competition where they ask the questions and you keep score on the board in the front. And you basically have, and you know how silly it might sound, but just like lollipops, a bag of lollipops with you. Adults also like to get a lollipop as that encouragement. I've got something. I received something. It's not about what I got. It's I got something for participating. A lollipop, small chocolates, whatever. It doesn't have to cost you. Go to ABC Sweets and buy a big bag of sweets. It will cost you like 20 Rand. And
It's the
hand out the
achievement.
coffee
It's
to
the achievement.
exactly. And that recognition for the achievement, encourage them to want to participate more. And you will be surprised how a simple thing like a toffee can encourage grown-ups to want to answer the next question, that eventually your class will be so, it will sound like it's out of control and loud because people want to shout out the answers because I'm going to get the toffee. You will laugh. You will think it's crazy, but if you try it, I promise you're going to see the results that it brings. So you can then let your learners create quizzes. Or you can then also go and take these quiz questions that we've got. And I'm just going to save that quiz questions as a CSV file on my computer quickly. So that I can just show you guys what I want to do in Canva. Do you guys know Canva? Any one of you ever used Canva?
Started after hours. I started playing with it after our session on Tuesday, and just quickly go and scroll through it and start to see what it's all about. And it's a little bit interesting, challenging a little bit, but after a while it does get better.
Yes, you must just play around with it, Johan. You must just play around with it. At the end of the day, you guys are going to see what difference it can make if you know how to use it. Okay, so what I want to do now, I'm going to share my screen with you again. Okay, so I've got Canva here. I've got it open. You can also just log in with your own Gmail account, and then you can go and play around. So I want to say to it, I've already typed it in here. I want flashcard templates. Okay. So if I put that in, here's the magic templates, not projects. That's what I want. It's going to come up with so many different flashcard templates that you can just go and choose from. You can literally go and choose whatever you want your look and feel for your flashcard to be so that you can use it for that as well. So I want something, let's go. Yeah, let's go for that one. Customize this template. Now I've got a lot of information here. It's fun facts. So this can be a fun fact of the SD Act. Okay, I can go and adjust the size for this. I can go and adjust my colors for it. I can do whatever I want with that. So now I've got this here. There's a lot of different things, and I can basically, I've got 10 pages with 4 on each one here. And I can say, okay, I want to bring in some information. So I want to upload my information so that I can get everything happening a bit faster. So if you scroll down, if you have Canva open, here at the bottom, there's a little button that say bulk create. If I go and click on bulk create, it's going to ask me to import my information. That's why I went now and I saved that quiz questions that I put in Excel. I quickly saved that as a CSV file. So I'm going to click here. I've got my CSV file and I'm going to say open. But before I do that, I have to select where I want this information to go. So you guys can see, I'm pointing to my screen for you to have a look at what I'm showing you. You can see here where my, my block is highlighted. Ne? So I'm going to say open that CSV file. Now it shows it's starting with my questions and my answers. So I'm going to say, you know what? I first just want to get my questions in here. And I want to select that. It's just importing. And I want to link that part. Okay, give me a second. I want to link this to my data. Sham spell out. Right. Okay. You back with us, Sham?
Sorry, load shedding. I'm joining with my phone now.
Oh, Sham, no, not a problem. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to link this data, connect to data, and I'm going to say I want to have my questions put in there. All right. Then I can say on this side, I want to link my data, connect my data, and I'm going to say that one I want to have as my answers. Okay. So that now ChatGPT knows where I want what information to go into. Of not ChatGPT, Canva, and I say continue. And I want all my questions in there and all my answers, and I ask it to generate it. Now it's just going to take a couple of moments because it's busy with its magic. And I'm going to say create 20 designs, generate 20 designs for me. So instead of me going to put all of this now on a template and copy and pasting, everything like that, it is creating it for me. Come on, generate it now. Give it a moment to just do that. It's not doing it. Supposed to do it. I think my internet connection is a bit poor as well. Come on. Select all. I think because it's so many questions and answers, it takes some time. Maybe I must not do all of them. Let's just do the first two. Let's see what happens. There we go. I think it was just a bit too much for it now. Okay, so you guys can see there, when was the Skills Development Act enacted? And on this side, I've got the answer. So I go back to this one and I want to link a bit more. I can just go and link my data to the different ones, and then I will have my questions and my answers. But you guys see how it just imports it. I think the 20 questions is maybe, and 20 answers, I mean, it's 40 altogether. It's maybe a bit much for it, but at least you can see the idea behind it. It can pull it in for you. Then what you can do is you can then print this out, fold your page in half. You've got your questions and your answers for, so basically you're going to have two cards that you can make from it. You can laminate it and you can cut out your own flashcards that you can use as a game in your classroom on something that is very boring, like an act, for example. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's amazing. Thank you.
So now you've got a game. Now you've got a game. So we're going to pretend my cards that I've got here is now my questions, my 20 questions about the Skills Development Act. But why I first want the learners to go and create their own quiz questions and answers is they're actually going to study the material while they're doing it. They're going to take in information because, well, we're going to ask difficult questions to the next group because we want to win this quiz as a group. So they're literally going to go and suss out the smallest details from that Skills Development Act that you give them because it's going to be in a competition base. You can say the group that does the best can actually will win a prize. So you must make it that interactive, fun thing for them, a motivator, a challenge for them, because human beings are funny things. If we're challenged, we actually want to show people we can do it. You can even, I look here as well, there's a little thing that's very small. You can ask the put there, do you want the question there? And then you can say the answer small here at the bottom. Then it's almost like these cards that I've got here as well. The question is big and the answer is small at the top. So the person looking at it can actually see the answer, what is on the card as well. Okay, now we've got cards to play with, but we've got 4 groups or 6 groups in our class. And this is now, I'm going to stop sharing the screen so that you guys can have a look at this. This is now where my other toys come in. You get this 100 games box. So it's got a couple of different things that you can play with it. You can make up your own educational games with this. This can be great fun. So 2 of the things, you can even play snakes and ladders, and the one that fall down have to answer a question or something like that, but that's going to take too long. This one that I want to show you guys, if you've got 6 groups in your class, this can work very nicely. Now in this box with the different games, you also get all your little things that people can play with. So each group member that plays can have one of them. So if they actually have a question correctly, you start all of them in the middle and each one have their own color thing that they play with. They can move to the color for that group. So if everyone from the group is in their triangle because they've answered the questions correctly, they win. And if you can even make copies of this and laminate it and have 3 or 4 different ones in your classroom. You can do it as a group, and if there's six people in a group, the one who moved to the color at the side is the one that actually wins. Another thing that is very nice that I also like is here again, if you've got 4 groups, so you can let the groups throw a dice on who have to answer the question, and then if they're back into their red area, they win. And then you use the quiz cards that you have created with your questions about the most boring topic that you have to present to them, and it becomes fun and interactive. They're playing a game in the class, they're having fun because they're not just sitting and listening to a boring lecture, and it doesn't have to cost you anything. Like I say, if you've got something like this, you can even download a picture of something like this from Google, print it out and laminate it. If you have it laminated, you can use the same thing over and over and over again. So you don't even have to go and buy one of these box games. I just have it because that's what we have in the house. But you can go and make copies of these, and you can literally then start playing and make your own educational games that they can play in the class. People learn by playing games as well. They're having fun, learning the most boring facts of what you can do and what you're not supposed to do. Like I said, I took something like the Skills Development Act. What is more boring than learning acts? To give someone an act to say, go and read it. They're never going to remember what that act say. I know a lot of things in the act, and I can promise you, after all these years, I can still not tell you everything on an act. I will have to go and search for it. Now my new best friend ChatGPT can tell me answer my question for me. Before that, I had flip file with acts printed that I walked around with me. Now I don't have to, and I highlighted the points that I had to show to my clients as well. But if you teach someone a boring subject like an act using a game, it's so much cheaper for you to do it. It's not going to cost you any money. You print these things. Okay, let's say, for example, your setup. To start with it's going to take some time. Because now, but you guys see how quickly it is. I've asked ChatGPT. Now, if let's say, for example, you've got your course content, okay? Now you're going to say, okay, but my course content, ChatGPT is not going to be able to answer my questions. You can go and copy and paste a piece of your course content into ChatGPT. And then you can say, this is the information that I have to teach my students on. Create 20 quiz questions and answers for me from this. And it can do it for you just like that. You're going to have access to it. I'm not going to have access to what you're loading on there. So you're not going to be sharing confidential information with the world. You have your content. You are chatting with your best friend, their ChatGPT, and it's going to create it for you. So if you're doing a module, use it. Now, one of the things that, Shams, I think this for you as well, going to be a big thing, the QCTO learnerships. Those learners going to have to write exams after 12-month training. How are you going to get them to pass the ASA exam at the end of the 12 months? This is one of the most amazing ways. So if you do it module by module, just put my toys back there. If you go and you create each module on a different color paper, you print it. Let's say module 1, all the cards is green. Module 2, they're all a light pink. They're not orange, then a yellow, whatever the colors you want to do there for each module. And you know your modules have each got a different set of cards that's a different color. As you do your first module, you want them to keep on reviewing so that they can actually pass that ASA exams. And you want them to do it in a fun way because nobody loves, and especially the youngsters these days, to give them a textbook, a big book, and say, there you go, there's your learner guide, go and study this. They're not going to pass. They don't like to take a book and make summaries the way that we all learned how to study. It's not going to happen. Hi there. I'm glad that you could come in. I saw you really struggled to get in this evening, but it is recorded. So if you then go and per module, and yes, it will, your setup is going to take you some time. And you go and create your cards. So after each module, you have that module cards with all your questions. You don't just have to have 20, you can have 50 different questions so that they can rotate and always get a different card. You can let the groups each have different packs of cards, and then they swap around the cards. Next time you make sure a different group got that cards again. And they play a quiz game in the class, and they ask each other revision questions on the previous modules. They will always, throughout the year, remember it. Now we're done with module 1. We've got module 2's cards added to our pile. So now they're revising module 1 and 2 every time they play a game. So let's say on a Friday afternoon, everyone is tired, they don't want to learn anymore. You let them play. Because they're actually learning, they're revising the content of the previous modules that they can remember it when they have to go and sit and write the exam. Because with all the QCTO qualifications, they're going to have to go and sit and write the exam. And if we're not going to find creative ways to help our learners on learnerships to actually pass those exams, we're not going to get learners that actually going to have a qualification at the end of a learnership program. So it's our responsibility as facilitators to help those learners to constantly revise, but in a fun way. Yes, you can tell them you're going to write a test every month, every week. How boring is that? How will they really revise? They're not going to pitch up on the day that they have to write the exam or something, and they're not going to pass it, and it's so boring. But you help them study in a fun way. The next module, there's going to be 3 colors of cards. You mix them. So after your 12 months, you have your cards that you can use again for next year. And you can literally go and sort them out by color again to know each module have its own color. And you know all the green ones is module 1, all the yellow ones module 2, whichever way you do it. So you can use the same training material over and over again. If it's laminated, it will last so long. Let's say, for example, after a year, those cards are they're so much played that you have to throw them away. Then I will say, well done. Then you do it again. But at least you've set it up and saved it on your computer and you just print it and cut it out after you laminated it. That's what you want. You want those cards to not be useful anymore because they went through so many hands, and you will be assured your learners will pass the exams. I can promise you this tonight. If they don't pass the exams, if you do it in a gamified way, then there's definitely something else that's the reason for that. But if you keep on revising all the important information with people, the way in a gamified way, even your little quizzes on your phone, like the Ed app that I showed you guys, even with that, share it to them. They can open it on their phone. They don't have to download an app. It's not going to cost you a cent. You guys that have played with the one that I've done for the second session, see how interactive it is. You have to draw lines between and match, and you have to flip cards over. So it's an interactive way. And you can send it randomly to your learners at different times to revise the information. That is a revision tool. If you have the paid portion, then you can actually see how they scored. But if you just want them to help your learners to improve the memory of what they need to understand, you can use it for free. You're not going to see what the results are, but it's okay. It's okay. If they all practice it, they will remember it. They're going to pass the exams for the ASA exams. So this is really something that I've got, like I said, I've put together a little booklet for you guys with step-by-step different ideas for different games that you can create. I will email it to everyone. I'll upload it in the WhatsApp group as well for everyone that missed this evening as well. I had a couple of people that asked to be excused for this evening, but I'm going to share it with you guys step by step. I've shared this link to you as well. I'll put it in the WhatsApp chat group for people as well to see. Where that 25 different free tools that you can use. But the more you can make your classroom interactive and a fun environment, the better results you're going to get, whether it's corporate training or not. The big client that I trained at their premises is a massive corporate client. Their sales team implemented this. They started playing when they did the facilitator training. What I actually had is I bought like a little trophy at the China Mall, a golden trophy, and I said they had to vote for each other who's delivering the most interactive, fun facilitation session for the facilitator training. And then they voted at the end for each other, and the person they voted to that won, I gave them that little golden cup thingy so that they can actually little trophy, because they were voted the best facilitator by their team. By their team. I didn't participate in that. They voted for who came up with the most creative ideas. And it's just amazing to see how facilitators can bring in these things into the work environment and start using it in the work environment as well. And that's why I also say to you guys, my thing from this facilitator challenge, I'm willing to help people to do this as well. Because at the end of the day, I've seen the results. I've been working with learnership learners and I've been experimenting with learnership learners to really see if these things work. And I promise you, even the learners with the most difficult learning barriers manage to succeed if something is in a gamified way. And that is why I say I encourage all facilitators. I challenge you to go and find a piece of whatever you have to facilitate and try this out in the class that you're going to run. Try it out. try something like that spinning wheel. Who's going to be the next person to answer? You're going to see you immediately have everybody's attention. Get a bag of toffees and say, wow, great, you answered the question correctly. There's a toffee. Next time, the next one want to answer. Just that little bit of motivation makes a big difference in a classroom. I don't care if it's adults or kids. We all like to be motivated. We all want to know we have achieved something. But if you're not going to set a challenge to your learners and say, guys, this is the mission that you have to do. That's why my entire facilitator challenge, you guys will see, your next mission is to. Your mission is to achieve this. Your mission is to do the most creative, fun presentation on the Skills Development Act to make sure that whoever you explain it to will understand it. And then what is the reward in return for that? And it doesn't necessarily have to be something. So your mission tonight is to go and take a piece of training content that you have to facilitate, a small part of a module that you have to do. Go and create a game from it. And then have a look. And I can guarantee you guys, the interaction that you're going to have in your class, the positivity among your learners in your class, the way that they're actually going to focus on the most boring content that you can give them. I guarantee you, you will see the difference it makes. I promise you that. That is my guarantee to you. And I challenge you all to go and do that. Make an experientified classroom environment to get the results. I almost want to say amen. I'm done. The floor is open. I'm sounding like I'm preaching to you here. Okay, the floor is open for discussion, guys. What do you think about it? Is it something you want to try and want to do in your classrooms as well?
Very cool ideas. I like it. I'll definitely implement it into the training I'm going to create.